Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom. I am incredibly excited to finally be back in the game, especially after the latest update. Now there's going to be a lot of things in this episode, so sit back, buckle in, get a snack, do whatever you need to do, because I am incredibly happy to be back. Now we are playing in the Spain, which is a scrubland map. I really enjoyed this map because we're gonna have a lot of really unique features to deal with. We have several small lakes. We have this scrublandish lake system, pond system, whatever you want to call it. But then we also have this amazing little plateau that I can't wait to utilize in some way, shape, or form. Now, the goal for this series, as with any of the other series, is to try and expand our park in challenge mode to incorporate as many species as possible and do all the fun things and new experimental things that perhaps I've never tried before on the channel. So if you want to support this video and the series and the channel, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, become a member so you can get early access, but also leave your comments in the comment section down below on different things that you want to see me explore, or things of that nature. Now, as usual, as pretty typical with our beginning series, we have an entrance to make. Now, this is the entrance itself, but we always have some form right here that says welcome to the park. And with each new park, it's been different. It's been a unique, different thing. And so I'm excited to see where we go with this. I have an idea in mind, and I hope that Timelapse Havoc will be able to explain it in a little bit greater detail, but we need to get a lot of things done today to launch this park. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. All right, everybody, welcome. Timelapse Havoc here with our first voiceover, as it were, for the channel, at least for the series anyway. So welcome. We are going to be working on the entrance to our Prehistoric Kingdom. As mentioned by regular Havoc, this is something that we always do at the beginning of every series. And so what we're going to do here, we are going to establish what is going to be the first thing that people see. And I've had this idea in mind for quite a while, and I'm sure regular Havoc has already told you this. However, what I want here is to build something that isn't outrageously over the top like we've done in some of the other parks in the past, but rather something that's a little more accessible, but also a lot more fun. So what we're going to do here is we are going to start building a cave where a T-Rex is literally coming out of it, and then where we then have essentially a waterfall feature where its head is like coming out through the waterfall. Kind of reminiscent of Jurassic Park 2, if any of you older folk remember that scene where he comes in through. But I think it's a really fun experience that where it's going to be absolutely massive. I mean, this T-Rex alone I think is probably going to be in the ballpark of like 80 feet long. Obviously not real life, but regardless, building this cave system was actually a lot of fun. It's interesting because we don't have a natural cave building within the game, and so I wanted to work on something that I knew wouldn't be entirely natural, but would still work. So we're building the infrastructure of the building of the rock face itself, experimenting, going back and forth with all that sort of thing. It's a big work in progress because I'm so rusty with my assets in Prehistoric Kingdom that it takes a little while to get things up and running effectively. At one point, I wanted to push this a lot further back to have a lot more space in front, but then I realized that would kind of ruin the experience, because what I wanted is I wanted that T-Rex in the people's faces, in kids' faces, in adults' faces, and so we kept it where it is. The waterfall feature is what's next. Now, again, this is where we may fine-tune in the future. I may make something that looks a bit more natural, but regardless, this is what we have at the start, is this idea of obviously water falling down over the T-Rex itself. I didn't want to completely cover it up. Plus, if you think about it, the T-Rex itself wouldn't be completely covered up just due to water physics. So this was a relatively simple thing to do overall. Waterfall features have been fantastic in the game, and they work very well. So I had no issues at all. We're going to work on next is kind of finalizing the entrance build part itself. And that involves things like bringing in some fencing so kids don't, or adults don't come in, putting some foliage on the rock face itself to make it look a lot more natural. One of the things that I didn't do a whole lot in the last series was create what I would call some natural vegetation on the rock face itself. So we're going to have a lot of that going on, just to give it, again, that natural look. You're going to have vines that get into every nook and cranny. You're going to have bushes that pop up all the time. Small trees can find their way into crevices. Got to cover that tail. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to work, but I think it looks good there. And then we're going to have vegetation up front, which is what we really need to do as well, just to kind of create that cohesive look. Here we go with the vegetation. I love detailing like this. It's hard because I try to balance your time with my desire for extreme detailing. Now, admittedly, we're at 500% speed, so it's not a huge deal here. But again, I wanted to make sure that I am respecting your time and not going too crazy and spending an hour detailing a small little object. So again, here we go. We need to work on that entrance area. Now, funnily enough, this little issue that you're seeing right here, I thought it was an issue with the game. It's not necessarily. It's a limitation of the terrain mechanics mixing in with the water mechanics. So if the water is only supposed to be 5 feet deep, then if you were to push it deeper on the edge, it'll create that weird little issue. So just clarifying that this isn't a problem. I figured it out later and it wasn't an issue. And then again, we're wrapping up the whole fencing thing. We're going to change this fencing in the future, so just a heads up, this isn't going to be what it looks like. But again, we're kind of role-playing here. Guests shouldn't just walk out onto the water and stuff, but we really wanted to make sure me, myself, and I, Timelapse Havoc and regular Havoc, were talking and like, yeah, we really want to lean into this because that's part of the fun of this game and part of the fun of the series for me. And so with the entrance kind of done in essence, we did need to make sure that we have, see, there we go. That's all the issue and I fixed it. We wanted to make sure that we have space around everything. And one of the things that I kind of struggled with here is making sure that things lined up. And I had a lot of issues with lining things up. But it all worked out in the end. No issues there. And we're going to use this as kind of our platform to launch into the different areas of the park in the future. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And as we figure out how to make all of that work, super excited for it. Outside of that, there's a little bit of detailing that I think I do to wrap this up. I did want to potentially time-lapse everything else in the park, which I've seen some other YouTubers do in the past. But I do like talking to you and doing things live, mixing in with the time-lapse. So not everything will be time-lapse, and I think that's okay. I don't think it's a huge problem. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed the first instance of Timelapse Havoc. He'll be back relatively frequently, possibly upwards of once every episode, if not more, as we build things like exhibits and we work into restaurants and things of that nature, the detailing aspects that you guys don't need to see every millisecond of, but can see a good brief overview. So I'm going to be done. Thank you so much for hanging out with me with this little bit. This is Havoc. And now back to regular time lapse after a little bit of detailing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to real time. As the sun's probably going to start setting soon, I think, so we may be building in the dark, or I may just wait for things to come to light, but I really like it. We may do some refinement up here and things of that nature, but I really heckin' enjoy this. May do something up here too, just a little bit to make it not quite as awkward. Possibly even round it out, in fact. Nope, let's just do it live. Let's just do it live. We'll be good here. But anyways, I'm sure as Timeline Havoc probably already said, this is something that I had planned to do for quite a while. In terms of this entrance, I love the idea of the, of the T-Rex coming out of the space and just potentially causing loads and loads of fun little scares, kind of just as a nice general entrance to the entire facility. So I really think it turned out well. Again, we may do some refinement here and there. We'll see, things of that nature. That's gonna bug me because Havoc is compulsive. I'll be right back. There we go. That's better. All right, so we are in the setting sun, so that's a bit unfortunate because we still have a lot that we need to do with the park, or at least to get some bare necessities up. Now, one of the biggest parts of this new update is not only a ton of assets, but a ton of park infrastructure. So for instance, we have, park infrastructure, they're both labeled that. We now have staff that we have to consider. We now have research stations. We now have a fossil depot to go out and do excavations. We only start out with a small nursery, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. But we have loads of other things. Compost heaps, loading bays to load up our resources, a whole different sets of produce areas. And I'm going to tell you right now, I said this in the last series, but we are definitely 100% going to let our public, quote unquote, obviously there's an aspect of role play here, but they are definitely going to have feed collection centers where, in typical corporate fashion, for a small fee, you will be able to literally harvest certain resources. Obviously, we're not going to harvest meat as a public thing. Maybe some insects, though, fruit, things of that nature. Have a whole space or several stations, perhaps, where we get to have I almost said villagers, where we get to have the tourists interact with it, which I think is a super cool idea, and I think it will be a lot of fun. But we have to do a couple of things real quick to get this park up and running before it gets too dark. One of these is getting power, and then also, again, we need to get, I don't think we need to do a fossil depot or research station at the moment. We don't really need anything of that nature right now. But what we do need is definitely staff. And so the goal with this, at least in this small entryway area, which we will deck out later in the future, is we are simply going to have some small pathways that are going to be designated for staff only. We'll do a 2 meter wide, I think. Now, these will be remarkably different, and I need to make sure that I keep those remarkably different. Well, I don't think I can paint pathways yet. We're just going to do our basic black asphalt to denote the staff pathways. And so what we're going to do is we are going to, will I regret probably just putting it smack dab in the middle here? Probably, but what we want to make sure is that our pathways are labeled well. Now let's see. Looks like entryways right there. So we're definitely going to also hide this space because we don't need to have this public. We don't need to have it shown. And so I don't know that I can grid this thing. Oh, I can. Haha. That's great. Can we show the grid? I don't suppose we could. Okay, no, that's fine. We're going to simply place this right here. Now, whether it has anything or not, I don't know. I don't exactly. I haven't done the research to look and to see what that takes. But let's go ahead and say, hey, we're going to have just a whole section just here right now. Oops. Okay, there's a little bit of graphical glitch. No worries. Game is still in early access. Always need to remember that. But I think placing something, do we really just want to go, do we want to go wild with it? Or do we want to keep it simple? I don't know that I can keep it simple. Anyone who has been on this channel long knows that. So that's a simple little area. We'll cover that up, probably not today, but we will definitely end up covering it up. And so we can go ahead and place our little generator in between here. That's going to give us a lot of power. And then we need to hire some people, right? Because we can hire staff. Am I correct in this assumption? There's a lot of user interface things as well, which is just fantastic. All right, here we go. Is this it? Ha ha ha. Okay, so we need, we'll just say, we'll get one keeper. Ooh, we get to pick people. Are there any differences outside of... I just wonder if these actually make sense. Mention how much they look to our founder, Alexander Winstone. And I wonder if we'll end up getting, like, better people in the future. In the home, they've successfully integrated multiple worm farms, adopted many eco-friendly... Let's go ahead and hire this person. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. That is a laborer, correct? Nope, that's a keeper. Ooh, we have multiple laborers. Ooh, my word. I don't know what these mean quite yet. But let's go ahead and say, hey, he's a 3-star. We're going to go ahead and do that. And we need several cashiers for sure. 3,000 a month, though? Goodness gracious. I don't know that we're prepared for that. That's going to be, wow, that's going to be some hefty deals here. We could easily rack up $100,000, $200,000 a month just in people. Let's go ahead and roll with this person. We're going to go with this person. And that's all for now. We'll see if that works. Auto hire to fill. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Eventually, I think we can designate specific areas where they need to go, which is super awesome. Hire staff all types. Oh, okay. Nope. Never mind. We're exploring. We're exploring here, people. Monthly wages. That's great. 11,280. No problems there. Well. So we have that. I do think we are going to need a storage section here as well. Let me go ahead and turn this off, I guess. Because I need it to be right there for the time being. But what else do we need? Storage goods large, storage goods small, storage produce. Oh, I don't need that. I needed the goods. Ripperdoodles. That's okay. We are going to just have them next to each other. Compost heap, we'll eventually get all of that done. But one of the cool things as well is we also have a loading bay. So things get a little bit more intense now. But I really enjoy this because we can say, hey, by the way, we're going to have you guys load, which is fine. That is not a problem. We may end up going a little bit wider here. I don't like that. That's one of the things that I don't enjoy. Is that like that's going to give me a big old fat thing. I just want to do it flat. I can't do it flat. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We are going to simply do a 2-meter long thing. Which will snap right there. And then I think we could do 4-meter long thing. That's fine. Again, it just looks really awkward. In fact, no, I can't. We'll figure out if we actually need the roads or not. Okay, well, and that's a whole cluster group. Let's... Loading bay, cool. All right, so this does... We have several trucks that we can do. We have merch, plants, meals, meat, insects, so it's not just animal food, which is really cool. I like that. So we're literally supplying everything that we need in order for all this to work well. I think we're going to have to add... Sure, we'll go ahead and just spend money on 2 more trucks. I didn't actually anticipate doing that. That's okay. No worries there. Man, we have to like... This is like almost Planet Zoo level stuff of interaction now. And that's super fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. So what we need to do now is we need to look to our animals. Now, the thing is, I don't know that I can even look up what animals I have access to, because I did have a selection ready. Or like the pre-selection kind of deal. Animal mechanics, no, we don't need that, although that is a great new addition. I think I literally have to build a new facility. So what we're going to do the cheeky little thing. And we are going to put the nursery here for the time being, just so I can see what I have access to. And so now I should be able to go here. Okay, I don't know how to access my animals. The user interface has changed quite a bit. So apologies on the newbiness of this all. But in theory, I should be able to hit this thing, which is a small nursery, and go straight to it. Admittedly, I am a little bit of a goofball. The facility is built, actually. Okay, so for the time being, this is all we have. All right, so I'll figure it out later, but we have our 3 starting animals, which is a, I do believe that's a Lilanosaurus. Oh, wow. I'm going to mess it up. Lilanosaurus, or Lailinasura. Go ahead and feel free to correct me there. We have our Ouranosaurus, which is a relatively new addition to the game, and of course our Psittacosaurus. So what do we want to do here, though? What is this? This is a level 2 right off the bat, which is going to be great. If we go back here, that's actually okay. Oh, it's an adorable little creature, though. Absolutely adorable, for sure. And then we have our Psittacosaurus. So we have 2 level 1 creatures and 1 level 2 creature. So I think, obviously, right from the get-go, we're going to build our Ouranosaurus. And one of the cooler things about this is that, well, they're labeled by that. What I want to do... Look at this, and they're all part of the Cretaceous period. So I think another thing, and let me know in the comments section, of course, because I want to know if this is how you want to do it as well. We switched things up by biome last time, but this time I kind of want to do by time period. We have so many creatures. Obviously, the Cretaceous is going to be the largest, and our Paleogene is going to be a little different here, and maybe we blend these into one that kind of morphs into the more quote-unquote modern age of dinosaurs and stuff. But like the Triassic will be a smaller thing. The Jurassic will be our larger, I guess one of our more well-known. And then the Cretaceous will be kind of the main front, the biggest part, you know, like the African safari of our zoo, Prehistoric Kingdom, whatever we want to do. So I think that's what we are going to do for now. Again, let me know what you think and what you would like. But obviously, I think it makes sense, even though there's a lot of space in between the entrance and the entrance here. I do think that this needs to be the entrance to the Cretaceous. And perhaps over here with a little bit higher climate, justify the snowier weather, we can do some of the other things, and then split off into different areas. So for now anyways, this is what is going to be our main section. But as a result, we do have 3 smaller dinosaurs that we can lead the people into the main Cretaceous area. Now, if we were to go back, I'm going to need to find it real quick. All right, so if we go back here to our Ouranosaurus, we can see exhibit crowding. It's got a really high tolerance for that. Temperature is something we'll take into effect, I think, later in development. I don't know that this really has an effect now. Low fin security, strength low, greater than 2.5 meters because it is a rather large creature. It has several biomes: grassland, tropical, wetland, and coastal. We can integrate all of those relatively seamlessly and kind of mold them together. They do like a heavily forested area, a decent amount of water, and we do have several different creatures here. So I think we could build a rather large exhibit in this instance, and we could work really, really well. Now remember, this is the thing that I messed up with last time, is the difference between genus and species. All 3 of these will be fine. We just have to keep them all within the same exhibit, or else we'll see other issues. The Ouranosaurus nigeriensis, very gorgeous creature. Very excited to see it. We're going to go ahead and make the males unique. We're going to make... Oh, I can only hire females. That's right. No worries there. That's fine. We're going to build a handful of them. 100 seconds. That's great. Do we want more than 6? I feel like we want 7, maybe 8. All right. And then while that's building, we're going to do another quick little time lapse. Again, this episode tends to be pretty decently long from the get-go, so no worries there. We don't want chain link fence. I do want something that's a little bit nicer, but it appears that our modern wood fence is going to be where things go. Let's get to it. Into the nighttime, just what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are already back in business. We have a couple people meandering around, but I don't think they're actual guests. And of course, we have, I guess they're supposed to, whoa there. Clicked on them, wasn't supposed to. I do hope that they are supposed to eventually in the future come back to actually use the pathways. It is what it is. It's not a huge deal. We do have food because we're kind of out of food. But regardless, most of our people, most of our creatures are ready. We've got a handful of seconds left. But in the meantime, we could totally release all of these that are ready. Oh, my word. Look at these. Look at these guys. Oh, it looks like we do have some crowding issues. Okay. Well, poop. That's fine. We could totally expand a little bit, which is probably what we should end up doing. Let me be just right back. All right, we are in acceptable levels. We just have a couple of things to address now, and in typical Havoc form, if you've not ever experienced any of this, this is what I typically like to do. I like doing funky forms. I tried keeping it uniform, but everything inside of me just said no, which is fine. That's not a problem at all. We're going to go ahead and fill this area up with some serious density for our trees, making sure that that isn't too much. They need a lot more water. We are way beyond our, okay, so fair enough, fair enough. It's been so long since I've been back and since I've last played that you know, there's some things that I just kind of forgot were things that we have to consider. It's not a problem, it's not an issue. There we go. We don't have tropical or grasslands. We may throw in some grassland, I suppose we could, but we have to be mindful of the forest and the different biomes. Now, if we could, what does the grassland look like? See, the issue with grassland is that it doesn't really have anything that's super relevant to where we are now. Tropical might. If we looked over at tropical, we'd see a handful of things, like some tropical ferns that would be relevant, some smaller trees. Lots of those grasses, so actually a lot of this would be relevant. Not the big giant tree. No big giant trees. And honestly, not even like the bigger things. Yeah, we don't need any of that. It's mainly just like ground cover that I'm more concerned about. There we go. Very nice. One of the cool new additions as well is, I didn't realize I put down, I guess that's probably just for the exhibit overall, is that we now have gates so they can deliver the food, which is super duper cool as well. And so if we were to zoom in on these guys, I think they look great. I think they look really fantastic. It's a really good 2-star exhibit without a doubt. The pan shots aren't super duper great, but look at the quality. This is one of the things that always gets me about Prehistoric Kingdom, is that the quality of the skins and just the textures and everything. This is hilarious seeing all of this stuff here, but that's what I get for putting a lot of stuff on the ground, is that it's just... they just look gorgeous. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it. Look at that. Look at that texture and that skin. It just looks so good. And this is a great first thing, I think, to really start bringing tourists in. It's not doing a whole lot at the moment, just because we don't have a lot of good things. We're just starting out. However, what we can do is we can do a lot of the things that generate our economy. So for instance, right now, we can put up some ticket booths or some donation boxes sprinkled throughout that might encourage people to come and support the park in general. And then alongside of that, we have things like modular devices, which we could totally place on here and have them not be messy. You know, kind of especially right next to the donation boxes, but certainly sprinkled throughout. Not really sure why these are like all crooked by default. It's a little annoying. And hopefully they know which side is right side up. Otherwise, you're going to make me look like a fool. Gives us a good little thing of the Ouranosaurus. Terrifying. All right. That's not too shabby. Do we have people coming in? We do. And the thing is, they have to purchase tickets. So one of the things that's cool about the game is things like queuing and things of that nature. So I do believe they have to actually pay for a ticket when they walk through those. Let's see if this dude does. He doesn't know where the entrance is. That's okay. It's confusing a little bit. This staff person looks very unhappy. Why are you so unhappy? You spent 824 bucks. Oh, you're a visitor. Okay. No worries there. One of the last things we can do super quick is we can put some guest facilities, mainly in the form of some bathrooms. Because look, I know people gotta go. Like I just know that they gotta go. And we'll develop this whole area much like we did with the other park, which I am excited to see some new different things come out of myself creatively. Let's go right like that. There you go. You at least have a bathroom. Like we'll flesh all this out in just a tiny little bit. How is our finances though? I imagine our finances aren't super duper great. Hey, we're already doing really well. Our profit last quarter was minus $1.275 million. Right now our profit is only minus 55. Not too shabby. Entrance fee is doing great. We'll eventually get into donations, into park facilities, and things of that nature in the next episode. Now, mind you, we've already spent, I don't know what, 20%-ish? Give or take, of our stuff. And now that we see things, especially in the nighttime, we know, hey, we have some things we need to do, which is understandable. I do wish we could have designated staff areas only. I don't want visitors coming in here. You know what? Maybe I can put a gate. I actually imagine that might work. And then only staff can enter and exit that gate. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, beginning of a new park. I'm super incredibly excited to hang out with you and to explore the new things that Prehistoric Kingdom has to offer. It's definitely a game that I would say is worth playing. I've been saying that forever because it really just is that great. I love the entrance here. I love our first Ouranosaurus exhibit. These guys are doing fantastic. They are super duper happy, and I cannot wait to see what comes on in the future. So as always, if you enjoyed this, be sure to give the video a like, leave any comments in the comment section, subscribe to the channel as well, and if you want early access, members have already received this video a couple of days in advance. So it's just an incentive there. If you want early access to these videos and any other early access videos that I am allowed to do, definitely become a YouTube member to help support the channel above and beyond. Always appreciated, but never, ever required. Thank you once again. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.